Have you ever copied a paint formula exactly, but the product still did not perform the way you expected? The problem usually isn't the formula. The problem is not understanding what each chemical usually does. Today, we are going inside the wall primer formula, one chemical at a time. Today, we will uncover the job of every chemical inside a professional wall primer. You will learn why each chemical is used, how they work together, and what happens when one is missing, too much or too little. By the end of this lesson, you won't just remember a formula, you will understand it. And once you understand the system, you will make better products with greater confidence. If this is your first time watching this channel and one of our videos, you're welcome. This lesson is part of our Wall Primer product mastering series, where each episode builds on the last. If you like the complete learning journey, you will find the full playlist and previous video episode linked in the description below. Now let's continue. Welcome back to Glina Paint Education. If you're interested in paint manufacturing, paint production system, paint formulation, paint chemistry, or building a profitable paint manufacturing business, you are in the right place. Here, we don't just mix chemicals. We solve problems, we build systems, we think like a factory. A student once told me, Coach, I followed the formula. Exactly, but my premiere still wasn't right. When I asked why they added each chemical, they could tell me the quantity, but not the purposes. That moment revealed the real problem. They know the formula, but they didn't understand the system. You see, a paint formula is like a football team. Every player has a position. If one player doesn't do their job, the whole team becomes weaker. The same thing happens inside a wall primer. Every chemical has a job. Every job affects the final product. Over the next few minutes, we are going to meet every member of this production team. You will discover why water is more than just water, why the binder is called the backbone of the paint, why fillers are not just cheap powder, and why removing one small chemical can change the performances of the entire primer. Once you understand the role of every chemical, you will never look at a paint formula the same way again. Let's begin with the chemical almost everyone overlook, water. Most beginners think water is only used to make paint thinner, but professional paint manufacturer knows that's only part of the story. Think about building a house. Before the works arrive, the building seat must be prepared. Water creates the working environment. It allows every chemical to dispense, mix, and perform its jobs correctly. Without the right amount of water, the entire production system becomes difficult to control. This is our first factory thinking. You see, professional paint manufacturers start with preparation, not chemical. The next chemical is Calgon PT. Imagine a crowded classroom. If everyone talk at once, nothing gets organized. Calgon PT act like that. The teacher. It separates particles so every chemical spread evenly throughout the mixture. Better dispersion creates better consistence. Better consistence creates better paint without good dispersion. Many production problem begins before the primer is even finished. As the mixing rotates, air enters the mixture. Air creates bubble. Too many bubbles weaken the coating. That's where defoamer comes in. Its job is simple: destroying unwanted foam before it becomes trapped inside the primer. Think of removing air bubbles from concrete before it hardens. The smoother the structure, the stronger the result. Professional paint manufacturer solve small problem before they become expensive one. Now, the preservative. You see, water helps us manufacture paint, but water also create another challenge: microorganism, bacteria, fungi, mud. If they grow inside the bucket, the product begins to spoil. The preservative protects the primer during storage. Think of it as security guiding your product 24 hours a day. The customer may never see it, but they will notice when it is missing. The thickener. You see, we meet one of the most important chemical, which is the HEC or your nitrosol, milosol or Bamacol. Imagine making custard. Too much water, it becomes running. Too much powder, it becomes too thick. Thickener controls viscosity. That simply means it controls how thick the paint become. Professional paint manufacturer don't ask, is it thick? They ask, is it the right thickness? That's factory thinking. The titanium dioxide. Now, let's look at one of the most recognized chemical in the paint manufacturing. Titanium dioxide. Most people know it makes paint white. That is true. But professional paint manufacturer know it does much more. Think about standing outside on a sunny day wearing a white shirt. It reflects light. That's why it looks bright. Titanium dioxide works the same way inside paint. It reflects light very efficiently. That improves brightness, that improves hidden power and help cover the wall more evenly. In wall primer, we use enough titanium dioxide to improve appearances and coverage without increasing production cost unnecessary. That is factory thinking. Every chemical must justify its cost. Now, let's build the body of the primer. Calcium carbonate is the largest chemical in this formulation. Imagine building a house. Bricks create the shape of the building. Calcium carbonate creates the body of the primer. It helps fill tiny wall imperfection, improves sanding, improves application, and it creates a smooth surface before the top coat is applied. Many people think fillers are only used to reduce production cost, but professional paint manufacturer knows filler also improve performances when proper balanced. Good manufacturing isn't about adding more powder. It is about building the right coating structure. Next come Kaolin clay. If calcium carbonate builds the body, Kaolin improves the finishing. Think about polishing wood. The rough shape comes first, then the fine sanding creates a smoother surface. Kaolin performs a similar job. It helps the primer spread evenly, improves sanding, creates a smooth finishing. Professional paint manufacturer combine different minerals because every chemical contributes something unique. Now, we have reached the most important chemical in the entire formulation, the acrylic binder. Imagine building a wall with bricks. Without cement, the bricks cannot stay strong. Inside wall primer, the binder is the cement. As the water evaporates, binder particles move closely together. They join into one continuous flame. That flame locks every pigment and every filler particles together. It also bonds the primer flaming to the wall. Without enough binder, the primer becomes weak. Too much binder and production cost increases unnecessarily. Professional paint manufacturer always balance performances with cost because quality isn't about using more chemical, it's about using the right amount of chemicals. The final chemical is Texanol. Texanol quietly helps everything work better. Imagine laying ceramic tiles. The installer needs enough time to position every tile before the adhesion hardens. Texanol gives the binder particles more time to join together properly. That creates a smoother, stronger, more durable paint film. It is one of the smallest chemical in the formulation, yet it has one of the biggest effect on long-term performances. Professional paint manufacturers understand that small adjustments often create big improvements. Now, you have met every member and football team of the Wall Primer formula. Water creates the working environment, Calgon organizes the chemicals, the deformer removes unwanted foam, the preservative protects the product, the thickener controls viscosity, titanium dioxide improves brightness and heating power, calcium carbonate builds the body, Kaolin refines the finishes. The acrylic binder holds everything together. Texanol helps create a strong paint film. On their own, they are just raw chemicals working together. They become a professional wall primer. That is the differences between memorizing a formula and understanding a factory production system. And now that you understand what every chemical does, the next step is learning what happens when the manufacturing process goes wrong. Because even a perfect formula can fail if it is not produced correctly. Now, you have seen something many people never learn. A wall primer isn't just a bucket of white liquid. It is a carefully designed system. Every chemical has a purpose. Every ingredient depends on another. Even when ingredient changes, the entire production changes. This is why professional paint manufacturers don't memorize formula. They understand relationship because understanding the system allows you to improve the product. That is factory thinking system. Understanding every chemical also changes the way you use your product. When you know why the binder is important, you will understand why adhesion matters. When you understand fillers, you will know why the wall feels smoother. When you understand viscosity, you will know why the primer spread evenly. Professional paint manufacturers don't simply make products, they understand how those products perform on real walls because customers judge results, not formulation. Here's one lesson every paint entrepreneur should remember. Customers don't buy chemicals, even if they purchase the chemicals for you to produce the primer. They buy confidence. They want paint that covers wall, paint that lasts, paint they can recommend to friends. The more you understand your formulation, the easier it becomes to solve customer problem, and every problem you solve build trust. Consistency creates trust. Trust creates profit. That is how professional paint manufacturing business grows. Today lesson wasn't really about chemical. It was about changing the way you think. Beginner asks, what should I add? Professional asks, what job should this chemical perform? That one question changes everything. It changes your production, it changes your quality, it changes your confidence, it changes your business because paint manufacturing is more than mixing chemical. It is understanding why every ingredient exists. Stop guessing, build system, think like a factory. One of the most rewarding parts of teaching is seeing students become confident manufacturers. When they stop copying formula and start understanding them, production become easier, troubleshooting become easier, growth become easier. That is why this community exists to help manufacturers think differently, to build products people trust and business that. Today's video wasn't about learning another formula. It was about understanding the formula you have already learned because once you understand what every chemical does, you will never follow a formulation blindly again. Professional paint manufacturers don't memorize chemical, they understand system, and that's exactly what we are building throughout this product wall mastering series. If your goal is bigger than producing one product, if you want to build a profitable paint manufacturing business, the PMB course is where we bring everything together. You will learn professional production system, quality control, raw material selection, branding, costing, sales, factory management, and of course, community support growth, and how to grow from small batch production to factory level manufacturing. Because formula teaches you how to produce, system teaches you how to build a business. You can also become our channel membership by joining the Glina Manufacturing Lab, which is the level 3 of this YouTube channel member, and get exclusive formulation and learn at your own spec. Now you understand what every chemical does, but here is the next challenge. Even when manufacturers know every chemical, many still produce wall primer that settles foam, becomes too thick or fail on the wall. Why? Because production mistake can destroy even the best formulation. In our next video, we will uncover the 5 most common wall primer production mistake and how professional paint manufacturer prevent them before the bucket even reaches the customer. Remember, a formula tells you what to add. Understanding teaches you why you add it. And that's the difference that most manufacturers need to understand. And of course, it changes everything. Paint manufacturing is more than mixing chemical. It is building products people trust and businesses that grow. Stop guessing, build system, think like a factory. I am Coach Glina. Thank you for learning with Glina Paint Education. I will see you in the next video.